If this increased the number of people running around with a chicken, by even just one, you made this world a bit better. What's the dumbest thing someone ever told you that actually worked? I worked for a courier company, and this happened to my boss. He was on a long delivery out in the country. We're from Virginia, but he's currently in Kentucky. We're pretty country ourselves, but not like this. This is pre-smartphone era, so he stops to talk to a local for directions. Guy said go as far as you can see, twice, and there's your turn. My boss stared with bewilderment at the level of deliverance that just came out of this guy's mouth. But he fixed his eyes on a spot as far as he could see. He drove to that spot and made a mental note of the next farthest spot he could see. Upon arriving at the second spot, dead on was the little unmarked turn he was looking for. We still quote it to this day. Go as far as you can see, twice. That the 10c per copy Xerox machine at my high school, that gave change for dollars and dimes, would accept Xerox dollar bills in the bill changer. The Secret Service gave the school a visit to explain to us how bad a crime counterfeiting was. I had a headache at work, years ago, at a previous job. I almost never get headaches, so it was pissing me off because I couldn't ignore it. My coworker, I can get rid of it. Come here, I'll squeeze your head. Me? What? I'll squeeze your head. And sure enough, he grabbed my head and squeezed the sides so hard I thought he was going to fracture my skull. Then he squeezed from front and back. Better? That headache was gone and never came back. Now I go around curing my coworkers' headaches. Everyone thinks I'm nuts until it works. I read a newspaper article about a guy who went to his local convenience store and bought 2 lottery tickets. Most people in that situation would play different numbers on each ticket, in order to double their minuscule chance of winning. Not this guy. He was interviewed, and said he believed that playing the same numbers on both tickets would double down his chance, showing somehow that he was really serious about wanting those numbers to win. So that's what he did. But it turned out that he actually did have the winning numbers for that drawing, and he owned 2 out of the 3 winning tickets. Therefore he was entitled to walk home with 2/3 of the jackpot, instead of just half. One day I came home from work and there was this little white box sitting on the counter. I asked my wife, "What is this thing?" She said, "It's a box that emits a high-pitched sound that only cats can hear and it will keep Spike off the counters." Me, "How much did you pay for this magic box?" Wife, "It was $50. Me, $50 for a magic box that's not going to work? Can you return it? Wife, "Let's just see if it works and I'll return it if it doesn't." This was 10 years ago, and my cat got up on the counter one time after we got the box and then never again. The box doesn't even work anymore. I think it's not even plugged in anyway. Still, the cat won't go near it. Sorcery. If you can't find something and you know it's right in front of you somewhere, walk away for a minute or 2 then come back. You'll find it right away. It's easy to get tunnel vision when looking for something, especially when you get frustrated. Stepping back to reset your brain does wonders. Then you get kinda mad since whatever you were looking for is sitting right there where you were looking. When my firstborn was an infant, a friend told me that an old native woman said that to keep your baby from crying when you lay them in their crib to sleep, you should move your hand in a circle in the air near them, while slowly backing up and widening the circle until you leave the room. It sounded like a bunch of hooey, but my friend swore by it, and dongate if it didn't work every time. No idea why, but my kids were all good sleepers. Side note that I certainly always would respond if they woke up and cried, because I wanted them to know that I was there if they needed me, but that didn't happen much either. My 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Thrillkill, her real name, told us that if you want to remember something, repeat it quickly in your mind at least 3 times or more and you will remember it. I've used this trick successfully for 50 years. My therapist told me to give myself permission to grieve later because I was grieving something that hadn't happened yet. It sounded so obvious when she said it, because she said you're going to grieve it later, it hasn't happened yet. So give yourself permission to grieve later, and to not right now. Bizarrely, it worked, for the most part, and I give myself permission to do other things later. 2. Worry, get mad, cry, etc. Somehow the act of consciously telling myself I can do it later makes it not so overwhelming right now. Holding a small stone to the beak on a chicken, then moving it away slowly will hypnotize it. We had chickens at one point. A joker at work told me this. I didn't believe it for the longest time, but finally tried it, and I'll be damned, it worked. Weird. I have ADHD and seriously struggle with remembering to brush my teeth before bed. Someone told me to put my toothpaste in the sink so I would have to physically pick it up and move it out of the way to use the sink. Once toothpaste is in my hand, it'll remind me to actually use it. Sure enough, totally works. I usually have to use the bathroom around the time I get ready for bed. When you experience bad turbulence on an airplane, lift your feet up. The movement of your feet messes with your mind and makes it freak out, so if you lift them your anxiety goes down instantly. Always works for me, but if it doesn't quite do the trick, I recommend ordering a few beers in quick succession. If you enjoy the video, smash that like button, subscribe to help and motivate us to continue making videos like this and much more. It's free. Leave a comment if you have stories to share and maybe yours will appear in the next video. Our team wishes you have a great day. My cousin told me that if you have hiccups, have someone stare into your eyes and ask you when you are going to hiccup next. I laughed it off initially, but when I next got hiccups, I jokingly asked my mom to try it with me, and it works. When nothing else can get rid of my hiccups, it does it every time. I chalk it up to eye contact, and having to concentrate on the hiccups to answer when they are coming is some sort of placebo effect that changes your breathing pattern. Housemate lost her cat, was devastated, put up missing posters. An anonymous person contacted her and told her to go out in the middle of the night, yell the cat's name, and then be quiet and listen. She found the cat. It was stuck in the neighbor's shed. If you get something spicy in your eye, rub your hair in it. If it's long enough, the oils neutralize the spiciness and stops the burning. Heard it from a lady I used to work with in the kitchen. Sounds dumb, but it works. Strap a mini GoPro camera to a chicken's head and hold the chicken while boating, biking, running, etc., and your footage will be very well stabilized because chickens just naturally adjust themselves to hold their heads in one place when moving. If this increased the number of people running around with a chicken, by even just one, you made this world a bit better. PC monitor didn't want to turn on whatever I did. After trying everything the troubleshooting forums said, I've seen a step worded like I'd have to unplug and plug in again, then I pulled the cables out and put them back in and it worked. I've been restarting the PC and turning off / on the monitor, but it didn't work. Happened twice by now and worked both times. What it is with that monitor. So, someone once told me to fix my slow computer by smacking it on the side. I thought they were trolling, but in a desperate moment, I gave it a good old whack. Lo and behold, the thing sprang back to life like it just needed a wake-up call. Turns out, percussive maintenance is a real thing. Who knew? Doing something half-assed is better than not doing it at all a lot of the time. Like 45 seconds of brushing your teeth is better than not brushing them. Taking a shower but not washing your hair is better than not showering. Cleaning a small area of your house is better than doing nothing. Apparently, the chemical in onions is attracted to moisture, which is usually most closely found in our eyes. The suggestion is to place a glass or bowl or water next to the onion while you're cutting it. I've heard of this before. Most times when I cut onions with a knife or wet hands, I don't get anything in my eyes. Putting mustard on a burn. Got burned pretty bad on my thumb trying to light some old sparkers for a kid. Someone said to put mustard on it. Thought it was stupid, but I did it. It was honestly miraculous. No blister the next day. Have passed this weird secret mystery cure on ever since with repeat results. No idea why it works. Honey works the same way. I think I was in the 7th grade when the mother of a friend I was with told me to put honey after I touched a hot pan and burned myself. The pain passed in a few seconds and the scar in 2 days. To this day I use honey in these situations. A building manager once told me that if someone ever constantly complains about something they do not control, give them a fake dial, button, or anything so they have the illusion of control. He had balanced all his temp sensors perfectly in a building and got complaints down to all but one woman, so for her, he installed a thermostat near her desk and said, if you feel hot or cold, just adjust this. He never wired it up, but the complaints stopped. I told a cop in my hometown that I didn't even know what the speed limit on a local road was. It was true, he just told what it was and to follow it. A sign later went up on that road with the limit written on it. Fans went out on my MacBook back in like 2011, which rendered it nearly unusable. I was really hoping I wouldn't have to bring it into an Apple store for repairs since they can be quite pricey, so I started looking up some fixes to fan issues. Came across some guy on YouTube who showed where the fans were physically located, just under the number bar of the keyboard, and that sometimes hair or dust can get in there and get wrapped up in the spools, causing them to stop spinning. He said the only way to fix it was to just pound on the computer a few times and it would usually shake it loose. I thought it was a troll and didn't expect to get any results, of course, but I figured I might as well give a shot. Gave it a few love taps and instantly the fans hummed back to life, and I never had another problem with them again for the entire time I had that computer. The advice wasn't dumb, but I was dumb, so thought the advice was dumb. I was at the beach for an event and it was a hot day. I was so hot that I removed my shirt and hat so that the slight breeze could cool me down. One of the party I was with told me to put my shirt back on, put a towel over my head so it draped over my neck, pour water over the towel and put the hat back on. In other words, add layers of warm clothing. Well, it worked. Now that I'm old, I follow this advice every time I go to the beach. Eating raw garlic drops your blood pressure instantly to normal levels, but not below what's proper, and there's no medicine even close to that. The smell repels mosquitoes, flies and humans. It's like a recipe to live forever but alone. When one of my AirPods suddenly stopped working, someone told me to rub the speaker with isopropyl alcohol and then suck on it like a straw. AirPod was working like it was brand new. I do this every couple weeks now for both AirPods. After I finish this video, I'll try it on my headphones too. It's already getting annoying to screw them up to make a headset work. Only applies for those in areas where it gets very cold. If your car window won't roll down cause it's frozen, try slamming the door hard until the window gets unstuck. Thought of it myself and it always worked with other vehicles. If you want to earn a cat's trust, blink slowly at them. It sounds really stupid. It feels even dumber to do it. But it actually works. It takes a little time and repetition, but it actually works. The reasoning goes thusly: cats stare wide-eyed and unblinking at things they feel might be a threat. They won't blink or look away in case you do something while they aren't looking. To take their eyes off of you means that they trust you not to hurt them while they aren't looking. So to show trust, cats blink slowly, leaving their eyes closed for a few seconds. If you do this back at them, it shows them that you trust them not to hurt you. And in order to earn a cat's trust, you must first show that you trust the cat. I worked tech support for a software publisher, mainly on a software used by hotels. We could also provide hardware and maintenance on it. Support was 24/7. One weekend my colleague received a panicked call from one of our client hotel's employee. The software was not working and it was quickly identified as a server issue, on premise. He instructed the employee to restart the server. She did, but after some time the server powered down on its own. No monitor plugged, employee wasn't tech savvy at all, so not much we could do. Any other day I think we would have dispatched one of our partner on site to solve this, but it's quite the process. I think that's what motivated my colleague to give her the following instructions. Restart the server as many times as it doesn't start up. Told the guy he was mean. She didn't know better and would probably waste a lot of time doing that, and we would have to dispatch a partner eventually. Well, not more than half an hour later, the girl calls back to thank him. She was proud to state she had to restart it 7 times before it worked. I am speechless to this day, and it's been something like 15 years since. Still talk to that colleague as we became friends, and it's brought up from time to time. I can't believe that in the generation in which Elon Musk puts chips in the brain to make blind people see and paralyzed people write with their minds, but if your monitor or PC doesn't work, a good smack will fix it. Incredible. We've reached the end of the video. If you enjoyed, press the like button, subscribe if you want to see our daily new content. It will help us a lot. Leave a comment if you have a story to share, and maybe it will appear in the next video. I hope you have a wonderful day and see you next time.